First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Weatherman, we can't allow any further delay.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 152 of the First Alert Weather Podcast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mark Nelson here at Fox 12. I'm recording this about 8 p.m. on Thursday evening, the 4th of September. Camilla was going to join us, but, well, things kind of fell apart. So we had some technical issues, so it's just me. And so we'll probably go through this relatively quickly, but I got some good stuff for you. So first, let's go over our recent weather that we have seen. We're going to cover fire weather, some historic events that we've seen this time of the year, and then some showers ahead, and then some viewer photos as well. So first, the high temperatures today. So the big issue, I think, is lately everybody's kind of complaining about the heat and the humidity, right? 87 in Portland today. Actually, at the end of the day, that went up to 88 degrees, but right around 90 again, and really humid stuff. It seems like that's most of the complaint that I'm getting around. And I noticed when I was out in the yard working today, same thing. It's just really humid out there. Typically, we're about 80 degrees this time of the year. So what a warm end to summer here. So if you just look at the last month, and you can see each bar represents the low and the high temperature out at PDX. And you can see the two heat waves there, one around August 11th. Remember the 399? So that's kind of weird. And then the daily high and low range there shows the big range here on the 22nd, 61 to 102. And then recently, we've just had above normal nights. I mean, so many warm nights. Part of that is due to the very high humidity as we are wrapping up summer. In fact, yesterday morning, so today is the 4th, it was yesterday morning on the 3rd, we had a low of 67 in Portland. That was the warmest low temperature we have observed out at PDX in the month of September. That's because we had a warm day before, I believe. Was it 90 the day before? Yes, 90 the day before. And then it clouded up, so the clouds just trapped the heat. I remember there was one night around 2006 or so in, I think that's when it was, in July, and the same thing happened where clouds moved in and we were like in the 80s most of the night. Anyway, the previous warmest was 66 degrees. One of those days, I believe, was during that 2017 Eagle Creek fire, or was it the 2020 smoke storm? One of those, we had a 66-degree low. So 90-degree days. So far, we're at 19. That might be it for the season. When you see the forecast ahead and the models, it's like, well, we could still hit 90 in the second half of September, but it becomes less likely. So we might stop at 19. Maybe we'll get a 20. We'll see. I don't know what that means down below for Astoria new daily record. I have no idea why that graphic is right there. Gonna have to check into that. I snapshotted what we had in our weather system, and then I see that and I'm like, what the heck is that? Because this is about Portland. I doubt Astoria's had set a new daily record for 90-degree days. I don't know. I was going to blame it on an intern, but we don't have an intern, so clearly it was my mistake there. And somehow it made it into this graphic as well. Oh, I know what it was. It's within the PowerPoint. It is my screw up. Okay. So we just had one day this month at or above 90, which if that's all we get, that's better than the last 3 years. We had 3 or 4 days in the 90s. Okay. Now what everybody's been talking about, I know I've been feeling it, is humidity. So I went back. There's that great tool. Is it Iowa State? I believe it is. So you can go back and look at the hourly observations from PDX Airport and look at how many hours are spent at or above 60 degrees. And if you just take September 1st through the 4th, so 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is the most we've had since 1980. So yes, we've had a lot of hours with the dew point at or above 60 degrees. That's just the early part of September. You go back to June, remember most of summer I don't remember talking about humidity much at all this summer. And sure enough, look how few hours, I should say, we had high dew points in June. It's the yellow right there, right there. You see, let me see if I can click. There it is right there. If we go to July, yeah, there were a few below average. So June and July were actually a little drier than average. August went a little bit above average, mainly that latter part of the month. And during those heat waves, so we tend to have those dew points go above 60 degrees. So to wrap up the summer, it was the 7th warmest summer. I think we'll do more detail on this next week or the week after, because we get more info from the non-urban stations, which is always interesting to see how the urban heat island plays into the summer temps. But June, July, and August, 1 degree, and then 3 degrees. So June and July were only a little bit above average, and then August was well above average. So it was our 7th warmest summer. A lot of that was the low temps. But it's interesting that number 1 through 6 are all since 2015. So, yes, you're not crazy if you're thinking, it seems like the last 10 or 12 years have been really warm. Yeah, they have been. We haven't had a chilly summer since, I believe, 2011 or 2010. And as for rain, we did have a few little bouts of rain. Now, June rain being 0.3 inch above average doesn't seem unusual because, we usually get some sort of shower action in June. July, didn't we have one day, I think? This is why I need a second person here to confirm my bias. But in July, I thought we had one day where it actually rained. Like it was kind of a rainy day. And then August, near average. Okay, we're going to jump ahead. We're going to have to wait till next week to talk about the fire weather, the term of the week, and the historic fire and smoke in September. But it'll be good because it's ready to go. Hopefully we'll get all our microphone and audio issues fixed here. So let's talk quickly about the showers ahead. So first, look at the satellite imagery, and you can see for right now, we've got a lot of smoke up there in Washington, a little bit of smoke in our skies. It's been very hazy. We still have a strong ridge of high pressure just to our east, between 585 heights or so. Actually, the anomaly, which is the color there, the anomaly has been centered north of here. British Columbia, I believe, had a high of 105 somewhere near Lytton, somewhere in the south central part of BC, the dry part of the state, province, had a 105 in Fahrenheit. And I also believe that was the hottest temperature ever recorded in the month of September. So it was more anomalous up north, still pretty strong for us, gave us some hot weather, temperatures around 90 or so. And you see the upper level low offshore. Now in this setup, we get the south and southeasterly flow, and that is what can set us up for thunderstorms. By the time we get to Sunday, the low is deepening offshore. The high is still up there, but it's weakened over us. Basically, we're starting to come under the influence by Sunday. Is this midday Sunday? Yeah, it's on the Euro. We're coming under the influence of that southerly flow a little more. And in fact, we've seen thunderstorms pop up each afternoon east of the Cascades. 2 nights ago, we had a few strikes near Yachats, also east of Eugene. Here's the old NAM, just the composite reflectivity. It implies that Friday evening and maybe again Saturday evening, something might try to come off the Cascades. Seems like the NAM often overdoes the reflectivity. So anyway, there's a chance for thunder either of the next 2 evenings, Friday or Saturday evening, but it's definitely not a guarantee. We've seen much better setups in the past. Regardless, that's going to cool us off. Onshore flow over the weekend, a lot more cloud cover. That's tough to predict exactly when that cloud cover will burn off each day or evaporate. By Monday evening, we've got an actual upper level low, 570, less than 570 heights coming right over us. So that says showers. I think we actually have showers coming up Monday. Cover everything. It's time for some showers. You see a second low coming. That one seems to want to swing into California, and that could really determine how much rain we get up here. If it's stronger, in the spring and the fall, when we have this setup, kind of almost more of a splitting, we tend to get far less rain. But we're excited because we're going to get some sort of rain, right? Yeah. So that's for Wednesday evening on the 10th. So regardless, that's at least the first half of this upcoming week looks at times wet. I've highlighted there the 24-hour period ending midday Tuesday. So midday Monday to midday Tuesday, almost every single one of the Euro Ensemble members has some sort of rain. Do we only get a quarter inch? Possibly. Does one location under heavy showers get 3/4 of an inch of rain in one day, and another spot gets only 1/10 of an inch? That could easily happen. In fact, if you look at the next 10 days, it seems to be, it doesn't seem to happen again over the 10-day period. Later next week looks a little drier. So I took the GEM, the GFS, the Euro Ensemble means for total precipitation. Notice they're all, kind of in the blue area. You can see the GFS does not have as good a resolution. So somewhere under an inch, most likely for most areas west of the Cascades is what I'm thinking over that upcoming week. And you can see, look at the Euro Ensemble temperature forecast. Wow, there's no sign of hot weather in there. I mean, most likely something later on here around the 15th or so, we're going to see another spike of some sort, right? You typically just see that. Temperatures tend to go up and down a lot in the fall. But we're done with the consistently warm and dry weather. And you can see our 7-day forecast here. We've got pretty much dry over the weekend unless we get a thunder shower or shower Saturday evening. Sunday looks like just a thick marine layer, probably dry. And then something actually shows up, real showers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I threw a little lightning bolt in Tuesday. It really could be, I suppose, at this point, any one of those 3 days. All right, some quick viewer photos. Hopefully the audio is holding out here. We got jellyfish clouds over Dundee. This is from Gina. That's neat. Those clouds there. When was that? That was just a few days ago. And sometimes we do get emails from people or photos submitted that say, is this a tornado? I'll see on the left. So thank you, Victoria Ingram, for that one. Nope, it was just a contrail. Just the way it kind of split apart looks neat. And sometimes we'll even get those contrails over the top of mid-level clouds, and it'll look like a shadow, a line shadow in the clouds. People say, oh, is that a tornado? Thank you, Christina Cook. No tornado, just contrails, and this one's pretty. A rainbow. shower offshore. This was on the 30th. So what day was that? I guess that was Saturday. Yeah, I think that was Saturday. So some showers just offshore there on Saturday. Thank you, Sharon, for that. All right, so very brief episode here. What was it, about 10 minutes max? So I think we've got things covered for now. We'll cover the fire weather next week, even though it'll be showery, because we have some great cumulonimbus talk. And we'll get things sorted out, and we will see you again next week on episode 153 of the First Alert Weather Podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Please tell us